Can a narcissist change? Probably one of the most common questions that we think about in this kind of community. The answer you would think would be easy. Is it just a quick yes, no, maybe, kinda, sorta? In this video, that is exactly what I want to talk about. Can a narcissist change and become a completely different, more well-rounded, more well-adjusted person? Is this something that is actually a possibility? And I also want to talk about why or why not. Why can this happen? Why can't it? In my last video where I talked about, do narcissists feel bad about what they do? Do they feel guilty? I hammered home the idea of the spectrum part of all of this. First of all, narcissism is different than narcissistic personality disorder, and disorders of all shapes and sizes run on a spectrum most of the time. Some folks are just more far gone into their disorder. They're deeper into their delusions than other people. And similarly, some people just aren't as bad as other folks with, the same disorder. And when it comes to change, I think this goes far beyond narcissism. I know the question here is, can a narcissist change? But I kind of like to take that out and just ask, can any person with really high levels of toxicity change? Is this something that would be a possibility? Of course, narcissism is, the nitty gritty and what we're all here for. So the answer is no. If you're looking for that super quick fix answer, no, a narcissist is not likely to change in any way, shape, or form. So you can click on to the next video if you were just here for a simple yes or no. And thanks for stopping by. Narcissistic people, toxic people in general, they aren't going to change. Like I say, that is something that is not limited to just narcissism, but we are here for the narcissism. That's what we want to know. I think it's interesting to dig around with these people and find out why there won't be a change. Because frankly, this sucks. And this would make a normal person, I would think, wonder, well, why do they do this? Do they want to behave this way? Don't they realize how good things would be if there would just be some kind of change? To understand that, I think we have to kind of take a deep dive here. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a toxic relationship, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me. Narcissism and overall toxic traits and these really bad behaviors are typically something that stems from trauma. There are people who know what their trauma is and people who don't. I feel that most toxic individuals, like narcissists, don't share much about what happened to them, but I believe that they know where a lot of this is coming from. I believe they know that there was a particular kind of abuse that has happened that has shaped the behavior. People who are running away from their trauma or refusing to deal with it do things like cut off communication and give silent treatments and ghost out, and they have trust issues, and learned behavior also plays a part in causing all of this toxicity. They grow up with parents that are really, really destructive, really, really abusive. They grow up without parents and all that kind of stuff. And they have learned that the way things are is normal, and this is fine. We all grow up and believe what happens in our home, whatever it is normal. You normalize bullshit and abuse, and we carry on with all that through to adulthood. So when you've learned things that narcissists learn, there's trauma, you need to lie, you need to steal, you need to cheat, you need to hurt others before they hurt you, because fuck those people. I'm smarter, better, faster, stronger. You can't get me. I'll get you first. I'll use you and I'll lose you. Why would you want to change that? Because all of those things that we just talked about, that I just listed, those are defense mechanisms. They're defense mechanisms and scare tactics. They're scared, so they need you to give up control because they're scared they're losing control. So they lash out at you to get that control back. Narcissists are people who need to have their anxieties and their insecurities quelled, and all of their sources of supply are supposed to do that for them. You are supposed to regulate the way they feel about themselves because they have such a self-loathing and poor view of themselves. You are supposed to make them happy, make them safe, make them this, make them that, give them money, give them a place to stay, whatever it is. All of their issues, all of their problems are supposed to be fixed by you. because everything they're displaying is this super, super unhealthy defense mechanism and scare tactic. And changing that behavior, changing any behavior, is hard and scary. Changing up a defense mechanism or learning that maybe you don't need so many defense mechanisms is hard and scary. Getting past trauma is hard and scary. Living a better life to someone narcissistic or even just your run-of-the-mill toxic person with no label is hard and scary. What's also really curious to me is that people who act like this, people who are highly narcissistic and really toxic, they do this thing where they make fun of highly emotional people, or they let other people know how emotional they are, how sensitive they are. They make fun of people for going to therapy and getting help and figuring out what's going on with their brain and how to live a more happy, well-adjusted life. And one of the million things I've learned through these experiences is we make fun of what we don't understand. We mock what scares us, and we tease those and sometimes even abuse those who do things that we can't. When we see somebody succeeding at something that we're not very good at, we can mock them. And this is true of narcissists. They make fun of people who go to therapy and make fun of people who go and get help and do all these things. And it's just really something that's quite interesting to me. I know a lot of survivors want there to be a change in a toxic person's behavior. And I know some narky people have even claimed that they've changed. I'm sure that they have, but that's not really something I can speak to a great deal. All I know is a real narcissist is not going to change. It will simply be a brief transactional thing where they revert back to exactly what they were. But I think a lot of self-proclaimed narcissists say things like they've changed when I feel like all they've really done is admit their shittiness and make excuses to hide behind it. You know, well, yeah, I cheated on you. I told you that I'm prone to do that. I told you that I can't be faithful to somebody. So why are you upset now that I've cheated on you? Or I told you I get angry and I slap people around. So it's kind of your fault. You know this about me. You know I'm narcissistic. You know I have these issues. It becomes yet another crutch, yet something else that someone hides behind. And maybe people who claim to have narcissism, but they changed, maybe they have lower levels of narcissism. But here is the long and the short of all of that. Lots of people use their disorders and their shortcomings as excuses. Real narcissists, high-level, diagnosable narcissists, will never be anything other than what they are. And I think that's what's sad. And I think it's also sad, the fact that we know if they would go to therapy, if they would address their issues, if they would heal, if they would realize that healing is a really great thing to do, so many of them would change and they would choose to be different. They would choose to be better. But real, true blue narcissists are going to choose forever the easy way out, the path of least resistance. So this is the part where I want to hear from you. Tell me what your thoughts are on all of this. Can they ever really change? Yes, no, maybe so. If you'd like to support my work here on the channel, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, join the Survivor's Army for more content on narcissists. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.